We just had the craziest 24 hours in crypto history with FTX, the second largest crypto exchange, going insolvent, and now Binance is looking to potentially acquire FTX. But I have just heard in the past 30 minutes that the FTX balance sheet does not look too hot, so it's actually unlikely that Binance acquires them. So in this video, we're going to talk about Bitcoin, crypto, where I see the market going, what's happening with FTX, and potentially what is happening with the funds in a scenario like this if you have funds on FTX, all right? So first and foremost, Bitcoin finally broke to new lows. The lowest of 2022 we saw at 17,600, and we are at $16,761 at the time of shooting this video. For me, this is a really great time to start accumulating. I've been talking about the mid-teens. I've been having still a 20 to 30% cash position set aside to start to accumulate Bitcoin and other altcoins once we head into the mid-teens, and we are just about there. So I will be putting a lot of money to work. That is not financial advice, and you can do whatever the heck you want to do based on your risk tolerance and goals. But I'm looking to accumulate anywhere between like the 16K range and the 13K range. That's where I want to put the majority of my money together, or I should say to work. Again, and that is in some select few altcoins, to be honest. Not a ton, but quite a few. About 5 different ones, and Bitcoin as well, now that we are kind of breaking into that region, which should be a generational buying opportunity. If you were to look at previous cycles, back in 2017 all the way into 2018, we had an 84% drawdown. How many days was this? This was 364 days. And we've seen these cycles play out very closely almost every crypto cycle, which is 3 years of a bull market, 1 year of a bear market. And let's see where we are at today as far as the drawdown and the date of this stuff happening, right? So that was 364 days. We are at 364 days, and we are at a 75.85% drawdown. So if this were to happen exactly how it did in 2017 and into 2018, we could potentially be at the bottom now and or very, very soon. So it's been really interesting to see how the previous cycles have played out. Even if you go back to the cycle before 2017 in the 2015 area, same thing. It was about a year of a drawdown, and then we saw the bottom, and then we saw liftoff here. So it'll be interesting. I don't know if we're getting an exact double bottom exactly where we're at now. I do think we do have a little bit more price action into the mid-teens, but I don't think that everyone that's calling for like way below 10K is going to happen. I'm not at least setting my bets on that. And the reason is because if we were to like fast forward into where we believe the industry and potentially Bitcoin is going, if you're buying, the difference between you buying at 15K and at 11K is really just going to seem like a rounding error into the future. And at that point, the risk reward is it's such a valuable trade as far as the amount of risk that you're taking relative to the potential upside that you have. Once, the policy turns around as far as monetary policy and the Fed starts to lighten up a bit, I do think that this is a generational buying opportunity, but again, not financial advice. We are at that range. If we were to look at, everything historically, maybe we look at a logarithmic chart in the previous cycles, and we can even go to BLX. If you guys ever want to look up Bitcoin over a longer period of time, you can use BLX, which is Brave New Coin. It's pretty much an index that just tracks pretty much exactly what Bitcoin is doing. Just the live prices are typically, they lag behind a little bit, just FYI. But you can see like the RSI is at a way oversold levels, actually the lowest levels we've ever seen. And the stochastic is starting to pick back up, which is typically what you see when you're starting to potentially bottom and then head out of the bear market. You usually see this stochastic kind of foreshadow what the RSI does. And typically when you're seeing strength in an asset pick up, you usually see the price of the asset pick up as well. So we are starting to have a little bit of divergence here with the RSI showing some strength. So stochastic starting to trend upwards, which is what we saw at the very, very bottom of the bear market in 2018. You can see here, literally almost to the exact day was when the stochastic started to pick back up. The exact day that it bottomed, stochastic went and started to shoot back up, and now we're well below, almost trading at 50 on the stochastic RSI. And then same thing into 2015 area, we carried way above to the 50 range right after we bottomed. We bottomed right here, and then literally about 5 weeks later, we then had the stochastic RSI at a 50, which then carried into that next bull market. So we're starting to show signs, in my opinion, that we're potentially bottoming. Also, the more you got to realize that markets are forward thinking. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, this just went bankrupt. What's happening to the funds? What other exchanges are going bankrupt? That's exactly when you want to start actually potentially buying. When there's a ton of fear and uncertainty, that's what creates emotional selling, which is exactly what we're experiencing now. So the more emotional selling and the more uncertainty that I see in markets, the more it makes me want to buy, because you got to realize we're trading in the secondary market. In order for you to win, someone else has to lose. So I want to be looking at, all right, let's wait till everyone's selling because there's ultimate fear in the market, and then let me start to go in, because I know I need to do the exact opposite of what Billy Bob Joe does with his trading. All right. On a more macro type of scale outside of the crypto world, we are seeing the dollar DXY trading in this new range here. We did potentially just hit, almost support here, and likely heading upwards. And we do have CPI data coming right around the corner. Midterm elections are happening right now. We are tied, Democrats and Republicans in the Senate, and the House is led by the Republicans. They need 218 to win. They're at 203, and you just need 51 to win in the Senate, and they're both deadlocked at 48. Now, what is important and here it goes back to my mention of uncertainty. So if the Republicans win, what that's going to make it very difficult. If they control the Senate and the House, it's going to make it very difficult for Joe Biden to be able to pass laws and new policies. And what does that do? That gives the markets a lot of certainty, because then for the next 2 years, they know, okay, there's not going to be a whole lot of change in policy and in new laws coming out. And if the markets can kind of project that, okay, there's not a lot of uncertainty ahead, then they can start to price in and have more confidence and invest the proper way. So if we see the Republicans take the Senate and the House, that's actually going to be really bullish for the stock market, because again, it's forward thinking, and they can now kind of project out what's going to happen with new policies and new laws, because we're kind of at a deadlock with being able to pass new things in the U.S. at least, which typically impacts all markets worldwide. Also, we've talked about, after midterms, there's never been a time back to tracking this since the 1960s. There's never been a time from 6 months and even 12 months after midterm elections happened where the stock market had a negative return. So 100% of the time, tracking all the way back from the 1960s, after midterms, there has been an increase in the prices in the stock market 6 and 12 months after midterms. So I am actually starting to flip a little bit bullish on the stock market. You'll see the futures is also still kind of trading in the middle of this range. So really nothing crazy is happening in the stock market, but I'm actually a little bit more bullish, especially if the Republicans take the Senate and the House. Because of that deadlock, I think we're likely to see the stock market have a pretty nice rebound. So anyways, crazy 24 hours. I know I was going to mention, if you have assets on FTX, you're likely not going to, first of all, they stopped withdrawals and deposits, I believe. So now I don't think, and this is just FTX.com, by the way. FTX US apparently is solvent and still processing things. So FTX.com, if you have funds on there, I do not believe that first of all, you're not going to be able to get access to them likely for a while, because now they're going to have to go through everything that Celsius and Voyager is doing, which I believe is chapter 13. I believe that is what they've been going through. And what that means is they then have to, they're going to get bought out. They got to restructure the debt. They got to go through all these court hearings. And it's going to probably take at least 2 years for people to figure out how much money they're getting back, and if they're even getting back any money. Because ultimately, just like when you deposit money into the bank, you are pretty much an unsecured creditor. So you pretty much have no recourse on your own money. The only thing that is more positive in the US, at least, is when you deposit US dollars, a lot of them are FDIC insured up to 250K per account, but anything over 250K is pretty much unsecured. So if that bank, it's the same thing. If that bank goes bankrupt, you could lose all your money. So that is what counterparty risk is called. And that is why crypto was invented, in order so you can actually hold your own keys by holding your crypto in a hard wallet, not having counterparty risk with counterparties like FTX. So I really hope that you did not have funds on FTX. If you did, I definitely wish you the best. I know this year has been absolutely crazy for crypto, especially if you're new to this industry. I'm feeling for you, and I'm praying for you. And realize that if you were to look at all the entities, we've talked a lot about fundamental news with Meta and Starbucks and Disney and Stripe and all the major banks and the new ISO 222 coming out and all that stuff happening. The fundamentals are there. So really hope this doesn't completely scare you away from the industry. It is honestly kind of embarrassing for the industry to see giants like Celsius, Voyager, Crypto.com, FTX just go down because they obviously don't understand they obviously don't have a very strong risk department, which is not surprising because they're kind of newer owners. Some of these banks have been around for 50, 100 years, and they've seen a lot of volatility in markets, but unfortunately, that has not been the same in crypto since it's a new industry. So hope you have some patience with the industry and trust it in the future to some extent, because I do think it's going to be really, really big into the next decade. But anyways, let me know what your thoughts are about the industry, about FTX, about where Bitcoin is potentially bottoming in the comment section below. Thanks so much for watching. Good luck to you, and I'll see you here on this next video.